Hey guys, I wanted to mix it up a little bit today, and I'm going to be doing a starter tier list. It's going to be encompassing starters and their evolutionary stages. Some of these I'm going to rank in not valid, not because they are not valid, but because I haven't had the opportunity to play them. We're going to leave S tier as S. Think we'll leave everything else for now. We'll see if we need to rename it, but I'm just gonna go ahead. I'll go in order, and we'll kind of go from there. So first things first, Bulbasaur is going to go into A tier. It's a perfectly acceptable first stage. A lot of the first generation forms are probably going to end up here, with the exception of a few. And let's see. But Ivysaur is going to go to S tier. I just think it's a peak design. The entire Bulbasaur line, with the exception of Venusaur, in my opinion, definitely hits the design ratio almost perfectly. It's not that Venusaur is not good. Gameplay wise, the entire Bulbasaur line is 100% like awesome for Gen 1 and for Gen 3, frankly. But I'm more gonna go off of a combination of just personal preference based on aesthetics and on versatility. So that's why Venusaur is actually going to be in B tier. It's perfectly acceptable, it's just not for me. We're not going to rank Megas as well. I don't think there's any need to. So then Charmander, let's go ahead and put him in A tier. Again, he's fine. He's really cute. He's a really good design. And then Charmeleon is also going to go into B tier. I know the middle stages are supposed to be clunky and awkward, a little bit kind of goofy looking while trying to be cool, but Charmeleon's just not where I would put that. Like, when you stare at Ivysaur versus Charmeleon, like, there's a little more synergy between this line than this one. But let's see. And then Charizard is an A tier design. He's definitely up there for me. Move those there. But yeah, no, I mean, he's definitely okay. Like, compared to other final stages, he definitely loses a bit of, like, oomph power the longer that you stare at him, but he's solid all around. Like, you can't go wrong with Charizard, so. Squirtle is another A tier again. He's, like, I don't hate any of the first stage, obviously, because they're an A tier, but, like, they're just fine. Like, they're not fine, like, mediocre fine, but they're, like, if I had to, like, rank generations of starters, like, first would just be an A tier for its just classic reliability kind of thing, you know? But Wartortle is another S tier for me, quite easily. The design is just really cool. It's very, very kind of like a pointy aesthetic, which is why Blastoise is going to land in B tier again, because I have really great memories of playing it as a kid, but it's just, I don't know. From going from this to this, it just feels like a downgrade. It's kind of the same reason why Venusaur is here, because the design is just so smooth for both of these, and then they go to their final stage forms, and the matchup system that they have in game almost doesn't matter anymore. Chikorita's B tier. It's cute. It's just not for me. I do like the leaf feature. Meganium, again, B tier. It's okay. It's not anything special for me, at least. I like Meganium a lot, so we're going to put him in A tier. I like that he's a little dinosaur. I think that that's really fun. I kind of wish they maybe had channeled that into these a little bit more, but I can see why they didn't. Meganium almost has, like, fossil Pokemon energy, you know, before fossil Pokemon were, like, a big thing and not rock type. I feel like they would have probably done that to Meganium if it hadn't been, but Cyndaquil, easy S tier. And while we're at it, we're just going to go ahead and put the whole line up there. All across the board, from 1, 2 to 3, all 3 stages, just perfect. I don't think they could have done a single thing differently. They just did a really good job designing this line. Totodile, B tier. Croconaw and Feraligatr can go and C. I don't like them. I think they're ugly. In game, absolutely amazing. Please go ahead and use them in game. I know I'm probably going to see a lot of yuck factor from the new generation because obviously I'm ranking these really low, but I'm not ranking in ZA starter picks. I am ranking by what I think looks good, and these to me do not. So, in another universe, maybe, but. And then Trico is up there on my S tier. Just nostalgia is carrying it harder than it ever has. Grovyle is also in S tier, but I'm actually ranking it a little higher than Trico because I like its design better. And I have really good memories playing Pokemon Emerald with the entire Trico line, as well as just Mystery Dungeon and Grovyle. I think there's just a lot of just fun there. Sceptile's A. Obviously, the design is a little bit of a downgrade from Grovyle, but like it's still really cool. It's really good, and its Mega Evolution gets an honorary ranking in S tier. It's really cool, and like the grass and dragon typing was just very, very, very on brand. I liked it a lot, so it might be the first and only Mega that gets up on the chart, because I know I didn't rank any of the other Megas for that reason, but just Mega Sceptile, man, come on now. Then Torchic is gonna go in B tier. It's not bad, it's not good, it's just okay. Combusken is kind of gonna go down here if I'm being honest. It's got Croconaut energy where it's kind of like a clunky middle stage. It's very well designed, don't get me wrong. It's just not the kind of design that I'm gonna vibe with, so. And I gotta say it, I don't like Blaziken's design all that much. As a Pokemon, wonderful. So, actually, you know what? Yeah, with that in mind, let's put it in B tier. Gameplay-wise, absolutely use Blaziken. It's wonderful, it's amazing, but it's not for me. Now when the designs for the other two are way cooler, in my opinion, but I know a lot of people just love kicking ass and taking names, and if that's what you're aiming for, Blaziken is definitely your guy, so we'll let him hang out in B tier. He's earned that spot based on just fan terror alone, because I don't want to know what people would do to me if I put him in C. Mudkip is gonna go in a respectable A. I don't like him as much as Trico, but he's definitely better than Torchic for me at least. Marshtomp he's another C tier in my opinion. Swampert is another C tier. They had so many things they could have done, and I guess I was just really disappointed that this is where they landed. Definitely a good powerhouse Pokemon, especially in Gen 3 for the electric type gym. I do think Watson's gym is a lot harder when you don't have Mudkips fully. Like evolved line at your corner. Obviously Mudkip as just a solo water type, but once you evolve it into either Marshtomp or Swampert, you definitely get that edge there, so. And of course we're not ranking Mega Marshtomp, although I will, or Swampert, but I will say Mega Swampert is definitely a powerhouse. Turtwig is gonna go in A. He's just a cute little guy. Groudle is gonna go in C tier, but I'm gonna rank Torterra in B. Groudle just has very clunky middle stage energy. It's not bad, it's just, you know, when it's wedged between these two, Turtwig and Torterra, it's kind of hard not to take notice. So, you know, I don't like Chimchar. I really don't. I don't like it. I will rank Munfern a little higher because its design is peak, but I want a rank below this to put Infernape on so that we can punish it for being here, because I just don't like it. I don't like the monkey Pokemon, I'll admit it. There will be a couple exceptions to that, of course, but I just don't. I know it's such a good Pokemon to use in game. I just can't get past the design. It's definitely, for all the monkey designs, it's definitely up there, but it's just not for me. Piplup is actually going to go in B tier. I almost put it in C, but. And Prinplup is actually going to go with Empoleon in A tier. I think it's the first time where I've actively considered for Gen 3 where the secondary forms are better than the first stage, so. Except for maybe Monferno, but that doesn't count because both designs for the final and middle evolutions got up there, so. Snavy's okay. We'll put him in B. he's not bad and he's not good. Servine and Superior, though, are both going in C. They're cool, but they're not cool enough. Superior almost makes it into B tier, but I don't know. I just don't feel particularly attached to it, so Tepig can go as a respectable A. I do like Tepig a lot. Pignite can go in D with these guys. So can Emboar. I don't like that the pigs have nipples. I don't like that Emboar looks like a whiskey canister with arms. I think I'm just finding a theme where if it's a fighting type evolution, it's just not getting up into S tier for some reason. But Oshawott is going to be my first B tier for these guys, I think, in terms of what it means for me. That being that its middle stage is an S tier, and its final stage is in D. I think we have the perfect sandwich where it's just best, fine, and awful. I think that's the only one so far that I've ranked like that, so... It's just, Dewat's design was really solid. It was peak. They did a very, very good job making it look super cool. And I thought for a second they were going to leave it standing on two legs, just like Oshawott. And then they slammed it down on all fours, which is not what we would have wanted. I would have wanted Emboar to stand on all fours, but they gave it to the Otter instead. So, for those reasons, I'm leaving it in D tier where it belongs. Its form, though, for Legends Arceus is okay. Chespin's a C. Quilladin, I'm putting it in D tier. And Chestnut can also go in D tier. I'm not going to explain myself. Fennekin, easy S tier. It's definitely up there on my list of designs. And honestly, Braixen, there we go. All three of these, I think, very easily sit in my list. They've definitely grown on me the longer I've gone away from X and Y, and I've seen some of the different forms and just new evolutions and things like that. And just as my taste in genres of, film and movies and books and stuff has changed, I do find that overall I have found a lot of fun with these designs that I didn't when I was younger, and I kind of feel bad about that now. Froakie is a B tier. It's not bad, it's not good. Frogadier goes in C tier. And Greninja's going to be an A tier for me. It's not the worst, and it's not the best, but... And of course, Ash Greninja's weird, but we're not going to talk about that. Let's see. I'm going to expand this out a little bit. There. Rowlet is B tier. And Dartrix, again, C tier. And I love Decidueye's design. I think the fact that he's a ghost type is really cool. He was the first one to gain the ghost typing, and he just looks awesome. I just wish he was more useful in-game. I truly do. Nothing that can be done about it now, though. And then regional forms will still go down in the not valid category. Litten is perfect. We don't need to change him. But we do have some things we need to change. I'm putting Incineroar in D tier. I don't like that the cat shoots fire out of its crotch. We need to... I know it's supposed to be its belt, but, we all know what that was supposed to be. And yet we all still don't think it. And I don't like it, and I think it's just kind of gross. And they made him look like he was wearing, a shirt and pants, and I can't back it, personally. Again, they started him out on all fours, and then they put him up on two legs again, so no. Poplio is in B tier, it's fine. Actually, I think this is the first time I'm going to put all of the evolutions in the same tier, other than an S tier, but the whole Poplio line is just fine. Primarina is definitely up there. Is it Brionne? Is that it? They're all fine. They're not bad, they're not good. Primarina's definitely grown on me. I wasn't super happy with the drastic change, but I can appreciate the design now that I've had some time to kind of move away from it. Because, like, when you see certain designs in starters and, like, you're fresh to the scene and you just don't have too much of an idea of what it's going to turn into, I like to think there's a certain level of disappointment that comes from it not being what you kind of pictured it would be. And that was what Primarina kind of carried for the Alola games, for me at least. So now that I've had a chance to kind of move on to other games and see the new starters and how those forms have taken over, I've come back to Primarina. I would rank it as my second most likely use, right behind Decidueye. And not to mention its in-game usability is really good too. So Grookey is going to go B tier, mainly because it's a prophetic warning of what's to come. Thwackey follows suit in C tier. I hate Rillaboom. I think we're sensing a pattern. Big, hairy, man-themed Pokemon are, like, all hanging out down here for the most part. And we're going to rename it to Yuck. There we go. Yeah, no, I don't like Rillaboom's design. It's one of those ones where it's not as awful as it could have been, but for whatever reason, going in 3D didn't do it any favors. It made it worse, almost. So, if it was in a pixelated form, it might grow on me a little bit more, but for now, we're going to enter a new group to the instant S tier for all three designs, mainly because they work so well together. While Raboot is not as good as Cinderace and Scorbunny, it just sits so well between the three that I just can't not also put it in S tier. Especially after watching the Journeys series as well. It's just the whole line is very fun. It was the starter that I chose when I first played the games. It's definitely grown on me. I love it, so. And then Sobble is gonna go up in S tier right behind them. He's just a little guy with his little tears. And I love him. So I will say though, his secondary stage does go to A tier. It's still funny. I love that they played into the awkward goth teen phase with him, but the type of green with the purple and the blue, there's something about it, and I can't describe it, but it hurts my eyes a little bit to look at, and not in like an eyesore way, but just in like a this hurts kind of way. So, and then Inteleon's going in S tier again for me. I like Inteleon a lot. I know it's not super popular, but for me, it's popular in my heart. So that's what we're gonna do. Obviously, Sprigatito hits S tier. And honestly, the whole line, again, I love this whole line. Wasn't super thrilled to find out the cat stood up, but I've had a chance to like use it in game, and its design is actually super fluid. They added a lot of personality to it in the new Pokemon series as well. I know it's not a very popular series, but I watch it for myself, and I do find that I enjoy it a lot. So there is something to be said about the whole line. Just it's really solid all around. I like how they play with the colors too. It's a very good color language in here too, as far as like just kind of, I don't know how to describe it. I really think it's perfect. So they couldn't have done anything differently. Other than maybe leave the cat on the ground, but I do think the design plays really well with that, as is. I mean, we can't just not put Fuecoco in S tier, can we? Like, he's just the perfect specimen. Look at him. Those dead little eyes. He's just ready to go, you know? I like the idea of a little crocodile Pokemon. I thought that was really good. And then they had to make this. And I'm going to be so forward. We're putting both of these guys, Crocalor and Skeledirge, in Yuck because Yuck. I look at them. Like, I like his little face, his little smiley face, but the rest of them is just not. There's so much that could have been done here, and they didn't do any of it, and they did things that I hated. So we're leaving them down there in the shame closet where they belong. Quaxley and here, we're gonna do this because I love Quaxley and its evolution just fine, but I think Quaquaval deserves to be an S tier. Have you seen his in-game sprite? It is absolutely phenomenal. So he's gonna get a spot up here. And Quaxley is just cute. I remember the first time I ever played through the games in Scarlet and Violet, I actually picked Quaxley specifically because people hated him, and I wanted to prove that his cute little face was actually built for stuff. And amazingly, it can take on so much in that game. It's super, super helpful for a lot of battles. So it's earned a place in my heart on an honorary level. Let's go Pikachu and Eevee. I'm putting Pikachu in B tier for this. Eevee in A tier. They're a little bit too overpowered to be an S tier for me because it kind of does take away from the gameplay experience a little bit. But you know, they're still really good, and their designs are obviously not bad. And this standing actually makes sense in all the other games where you can play these as starters as well. So I'm leaving them put. Espeon and Umbreon are going to go in A tier, of course, as well as Jolteon and Flareon and Vaporeon. I haven't played these games in their full extent, but all of them are just really good. And they're definitely worth your time if you have the ability to play them. I would say go for it. But yeah, so that's the full ranking. If you guys have any thoughts that differ from mine, leave the hate comments down below. I promise you I can take it. So if you have any in common with me and you want to help me rationalize why Quaquaval deserves to be up here or why Infernape is in yuck, by all means, fight with me. But if you guys want to see more things like this, go ahead and leave a comment down below. I actually had a lot of fun putting this together. It was kind of nice just to sit down and make a chill video. And I will be making a couple videos in the next one, so go ahead and hit a like and subscribe if you feel like you'd like to see more. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.